Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, All Things Taylor, with yours truly for Q&A Wednesday. Woo! Where are all my BC Lions fans at? Woo, woo. Due to the pandemic, I have to apologize. I will be doing this from my tiny house on wheels today because I was not able to get access to my little studio. Gotta make the best of it, right? So I tore a page out of my handy dandy notebook. So let's get right on into the questions I was able to find for this week's Q&A Wednesday. Super stoked. We have been having a lot of fun over the last month with doing these questions. Keep them rolling in. Comment below. Make sure you get your friends to like, share, and subscribe because I will have more Taylor's Tiny Kitchens coming up with recipes just in time for the holidays that are all easy, efficient, on a dime, and fun. So that not only are they easy for your sanity, they're also easy on your wallet, especially during times like this. Also, I will be coming out with another children's book soon, so yay! Woo! I am on fire! All right, so without further ado, here we go. Okay. The first question was from Twitter, and this fan asked if I was going to narrate any of my books. The answer is yes, and I already did. So the first book I wrote that came out on Amazon.com and BarnesandNobles.com is It's Not Easy Being a Sloth by Taeler Hendrix. And what I actually did was, everybody was wondering basically why I only did the ebook version on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, and the answer for that was cost. I wanted to make sure that my book was accessible for anyone, especially during a pandemic when parents and people that are friends of parents have so much going on and so much to pay for and so many worries. I didn't want a parent to feel bad if they could not afford my book. Therefore, I tried to make it as accessible as possible, and one of the ways to do that was keeping the cost down by making it an ebook instead of available as hard copy. So each one of my books, so It's Not Easy Being a Sloth and A Fish with a Wish is Trish, are both $4.99 each, and Amazon offers you the option when you're going through the process to click buy for others, and that's really cool because all you do is you buy the book basically as an ebook, and you put the person's email that you want to buy it for, and Amazon emails them the book that they're able to download and read. So I think that that's a really cool option, and that's one of the things that I really loved about Amazon. And narrating, what I did is, you know, for anybody that couldn't afford the $4.99 from Amazon or BarnesandNoble.com, was I narrated the book as an audiobook right here on my YouTube channel. So if anything, I will put a link to that video, and that is me narrating the book, and I do the voices. And I will be uploading A Fish with a Wish is Trish also by doing the voices. Yay! What can't I do? Okay, next question. So thank you for that. That was a really cool, really good question. This next question comes from my YouTube channel, and this person is very active on my YouTube channel. Appreciate you a lot. They'll know who they are as soon as they hear this question. So they asked me, Taeler Hendrix, what would you suggest to fans that have never seen your work before? What would you suggest to them? And immediately what came to my mind were, I would recommend to them my 4 promo series that I did and wrote at Ring of Honor, which led up to my no DQ match with Mandy Leon. And so I would have them watch all 4 of those short vignettes, and then I would have them watch my no DQ match because I think it tells a really good story. And I'm just proud of those vignettes because I wrote them. And that was like the first time fans got to see like my creative side, that I wasn't just something to look at, like I can also write and wrestle and create characters and things like that. So I was very proud of that. The other thing, I don't know if people are able to find it, but I had this really awesome match in Los Angeles with Santana Garrett. I really love that, so I would recommend them find that one. And I would also recommend myself versus Giselle Shaw. That's really cool. And then I had some other really cool matches, so maybe I'll do some more of that in another video where I'll be like, oh hey, some of my favorite opponents, some of my favorite matches. So ask more specific questions and we'll get more into those. That was a really cool one. Another person asked me, I believe from YouTube, has there ever been anything funny that happened during one of my entrances? This is actually kind of funny in my opinion because somebody was like trying to troll me, I don't know, over the last year on my YouTube channel, and I posted an entrance of mine from Ring of Honor, and they were like, oh, that was so planted, that was so cheesy and corny and like over telegraphed or something to that effect, right? And what basically happened was, I think it was my match versus Sumi Sakai, but I'm not positive. It could have been versus Jenny Rose. It might have been one of those. And so I'm coming down the walkway at Ring of Honor for my entrance for the match. And I look, and somebody that's sitting entrance side, right on the side, has a sign. I think it said like, Taeler Hendrix, will you marry me, or something. And without them knowing anything at all, I saw that out of the corner of my eye, and I went, ha 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 ha. And my little heel inside of myself just goes right over to them. I don't say a darn thing to them. I take it and then I rip it up and I continue on my way. I felt bad after, but in the moment I was just like, I think that that's something that they'll never forget. I love that, like being able to bring fans into, you know, the act and the mystique of what's going on. So that's something that I thought was funny that happened. People thought that that was like a planted person for me to try to get heat, and it's like, nah, like that person really did come and pay for a ticket, and they literally did make that sign, and they literally had no idea that I was just gonna walk right over there and rip it up. To me, that was just so funny because it was like a spur of the moment thing. I just happened to see it out of the corner of my eye, and I was like, check this out. Okay. Another person on my YouTube channel asked me if I remember a party from when I was younger that I must have attended. The answer is, I'm sorry, Ryan. No, I do not. I have been hit in the head so much with wrestling. Like we've discussed on the last, I think, 2 QnA Wednesdays, I've had at least 5 or 6 concussions and some really gnarly injuries. So there's a lot of things that I do not remember, which is kind of sad. But I take care of myself, so I take that very seriously. But no, I'm sorry, I don't remember. Let's see. Someone asked me what my finisher is called. What's really hilarious is like people always call it so many different things. So it's been called the Kiss Goodnight. It's been called the End Game, Poison Paradise, Hail to the Queen, Kneel to the Crown, like all kinds of like crazy stuff. So I'm just like, hey, whatever you guys want at this point, because everybody used to say the Kiss of Death, and it's like, no, I'm not Carly Perez and Lucha Underground, so like that's her thing, my thing's different. So I just got tired of correcting people, so I was just like, hey, do you, whatever you want to call it. Like, I don't know, I'm not high maintenance. So I'm just like, whatever. Do I have any pre-match rituals? This is really fun. Almost every match I've ever had in my career, I'm always wearing knee-high or thigh-high socks that are inside my boots. Always. And I think for the last 2 years now, I've worn Maleficent socks. So that is definitely a pre-match ritual of mine. Another pre-match ritual of mine I've been doing for years, dating back to when Ruby Riott and I were in OVW together in developmental. I'll always tell my opponent, I'll like grab them by the shoulders or put our hands in, or I'll just look at them and I'll be like, going in one way, coming out the same. And for like 99% of my career, that has been the case. I've barely hurt anybody in my entire career. I think I've hurt 2 people. I think, and that's it. So I'm like, people like to give me crap, but I'm actually like a very safe person to wrestle with in the ring, and I take that very seriously. So that's why I'm always like going in one way, coming out the same. And I think that I got that honestly from I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry, but it meant a lot to me because I've seen a lot of people get hurt, a lot of career-ending things, a lot of things that are like scarring, both mentally, physically, and emotionally. So I take that very seriously. And then another pre-match ritual of mine is music. Music plays such a huge part in me getting prepared for things. And so that's like a very big part, very big thing for me is music. Like I remember the songs that I listened to right before I went out for my gut check on Spike. So that's like a very big deal. Another person asked me, I believe from YouTube, would I ever start in a fantasy genre type of TV series? Heck yeah, absolutely. I'm actually writing like a fantasy book that I will be hopefully publishing either the end of this year or early spring of next year. So I'm very into that. I was huge into Lord of the Rings and all kinds of like fantasy genres. So totally would. One person asked me on Twitter if we can, if I can like give any fun facts about me that people might not know. Something that people might not know is when I was a teenager, I collected swords. So when I saw Drew McIntyre's story about Vince McMahon having a sword and someone fetching it from him for Vince in Connecticut to give to Drew McIntyre, and Triple H walks by him backstage and is like, hey, didn't I get that for Vince? I was laughing because like I'm Scottish and I'm very much into swords and like claymores and dirks and daggers and stuff. I'm very, and archery and very weapons and hatchets and stuff. Totally into that kind of stuff. And I used to collect swords, and I used to be certified to teach archery and all kinds of really cool stuff. And I know how to throw like knives and hatchets and stuff like that. So that's a really cool little Taeler Hendrix fun fact that I don't think many people knew about. And my favorite sword that I did have, it had these black skulls going down the middle of the blade. It was so epic. It was so cool. Someone asked me on YouTube if I had any interactions and what was it like working with Jim Cornette. I know Jim Cornette is very controversial, and I know for a fact that I've spoken out against, you know, some of the things that he has said and done on social media. You know, with concerns to like Sonny Kiss, I was very open in my defense of people like Sonny Kiss and some other people like Leo Rush. I'm good friends with Leo Rush. By the way, congratulations to him and his wife. They're expecting another child, a boy, so I think that's amazing. I saw that on social media today. Positivity. I personally had no terrible interactions with Jim Cornette. He kind of looked at me as like not somebody to like that he needed to protect, but for somebody he kind of sort of wanted to look out for. So I felt very honored by that, and I think it's because I was very respectful and I always wanted to learn. So I know we've discussed this a little bit on my channel prior to this Q&A Wednesday. My whole time in the business, I have literally always wanted to learn as much as I could to try to be the most well-rounded performer that I could, and to be able to wrestle with almost anybody with any sort of style. So I may not be a high flyer, but I am totally a huge solid base for people that are high flyers. Like I caught Santana Garrett and Thunder Rosa and all kinds of people for all kinds of really cool stuff, you know? So how I thought I would be the most well-rounded performer is by going to seminars and learning from a lot of different types of people with a lot of different psychology ideas as it relates to wrestling. So I got to learn from Al Snow. I went to Jim Cornette seminars. I did an OVW tryout camp that was partially run by Jim Cornette. I did a J.J. Dillon seminar, a Les Thatcher seminar, several Kevin Kelly seminars, several Ring of Honor seminars. I went all over the place. I even did like a Jeff Jarrett Global Force seminar. I did all kinds of seminars. And Jim Cornette was always like very supportive of me. He always had so much positive feedback for like my promos and stuff, which is funny because now fans are like, oh, I'll give Taeler a mic. So it's really funny. So I actually, it's really cool to see him and Kevin Kelly really support me at promo camps. Like I remember myself and Sasha Banks attended the same promo camps of Kevin Kelly, and I won one. That was really cool. Like I like won. That was really awesome. Yeah, Jim Cornette, there's a spot that's very creative that I've posted it on this YouTube channel before. It's myself and Chelsea Green, who's now in WWE. She's hurt right now, but she's in WWE. Her and I were Queens of Combat Tag Team Champions together. And we go up against Mia Yim, who's in WWE. I think she just had her main roster debut recently with Retribution. And Leva Bates, who's on AEW. As a librarian. Well, it was a tag team tournament. We are battling to become the champions. So it's like the finals of that tournament. And there's this really cool spot that even the people on commentary, they're like, we've never seen that. And I got it from Jim Cornette. I was at OVW when he was towards the end part of his time at OVW, getting ready to kind of take over some of the things at Ring of Honor. So it was around that time. And I remember him like just decimating this, whatever tag team it was at that time. And he talked about this spot that was filled with old school psychology, and he hates that he doesn't see stuff like that anymore as far as, you know, tag team wrestling. And as people have learned on this channel, I'm a huge fan of tag team wrestling, like huge, ever since I was a kid. And so the spot, basically, I took it. Years later, I still remembered that spot in the back of my head, and I took it, and I was so stoked to do it. And the girls were like, I don't know about this. And I was like, no, trust me. If we pull it off right, it's going to be good. So basically, Chelsea Green and I'm getting mad in the match because the Mia Yim and Leva keep taking advantage of the rules and doing, you know, bending the rules and cheating and stuff and just double teaming my partner. So I keep trying to go in to help. Ref keeps making me get back, trying to go in to help. One time I even get past the ref really quick, but then he pushes me back. I have to keep getting out. Finally, as the good guy, I snap, right? So I freaking snap. I bit one, bit the other, hip toss Chelsea Green back into my own corner because it's out of desperation, you know, to help me, help my partner, and help our team. And then I get back out into my corner and I go like this, and right as she's about to make the tag, they get her back. And it was so, yeah, that's like some old school stuff right there. And I learned that kind of stuff from Jim Cornette. And one of the concussions I talked about that I received from a veteran, Jim Cornette was actually present. And it was told to me later on that he saw what happened to me on the monitor backstage at Ring of Honor. This was way back in the day at Ring of Honor, probably like circa 2009. I got hurt really, really bad, quite badly, by this veteran who actually has a really high up position today in a company, but I won't say who she is because I'm just not that type of person. And CM Punk was there. Austin Aries was there. Tyler Black, who's obviously now Seth Rollins, was there. Kevin Steen, who's Kevin Owens, was there. Sami Zayn, who was at the time under a mask, I believe as El Generico, was there. Roderick Strong was there. A lot of people. So that was like a really big locker room at that point. It was very intimidating for someone who was as green as I was. Chris Hero was there. Claudio Castagnoli, who's, gosh, what's his WWE name? Anyway, he was there. Told you, too many concussions, man. And so this was a very intimidating locker room for someone as green as I was to be in. And I just got my whole body handed to me. And what's really interesting is I got bruised ribs and a concussion from this veteran. And how I got the bruised ribs was actually almost the exact same setup spot that Ember Moon just did tonight on NXT. So I'm doing a big Polish hammer from off the, no, not a Polish, whatever, off the second turnbuckle, and I'm mid-air like this, right? And the girl comes up and kicks me, and everybody in the back apparently just lost their minds because in mid-air I'm coming straight at her, and she kicked me so hard in my ribs that I landed in a different direction on a different side of the ring. So I was coming like this, she kicked me, I landed all the way over here. Like, she, like, kicked me mid-air into a different direction. It was so bad. And basically, he was like, oh, not baby Taeler, no. So, Jim Cornette was always actually very nice to me. I didn't have him ever yell at me or anything. But obviously, you know, not everybody has that sort of experience. So those are my basic Jim Cornette experiences. And I remember going into Ring of Honor when he was taking over some of the booking aspects. And then my concussion that I referenced when, the last two QnA Wednesdays, where the girl snap mirrors me and kicks me in the base of the neck, and I get paralyzed from the waist down, and my brain hits the front of my skull and hits the back of my skull, and I seen like flashing rainbow lights and everything went black. Jim Cornette was actually the booker And what had happened was I had just moved to OVW. Jim Cornette was working with Ring of Honor, and he got Ring of Honor to do some television tapings at OVW. So I'm wrestling that girl the first night at the tapings. The second night, she goes ahead and wrestles former TNA knockout Sojo Bolt. And magically, the matches were totally different in safety-wise. So wink, wink. But yeah, like Jim Cornette was there for that. And so was CM Punk. Actually, CM Punk was backstage for that one as well. And I remember him like coming up to me like, Taeler Hendrix. Like that. He was like, Taeler Hendrix. And he was like, Hendrix, kid, are you okay? I remember that. CM Punk was always actually really cool with me, so I never had any bad interactions with CM Punk either. He was always pretty supportive of me. I remember Taeler Hendrix, kid, you alright? Anyways, let me see. I believe this next question was from my YouTube channel as well, so keep them coming, guys. First off, I don't know what an Inferno match is. I like picture Kane and tables and flames, but I really don't know what it is. So I would need someone to tell me what that is before I consent. But they basically asked me, who would I wrestle in an Inferno match? Bea Priestley, Molly Spartan, Brandy Lauren, or Priscilla Kelly? Instantly my mind was like Priscilla Kelly. I dig her vibe. I think her and I could do some really cool stuff in the ring. And plus I used to have orange hair and she has orange hair. So I think that's kind of cool. So that's who I would pick. Priscilla Kelly. Whether as a tag team or singles, I don't